I think the thing that we're doing on the revenue side that maybe is a little different, but not completely from everybody else, is that we're going to recognize that maybe the news, just publishing news, is not necessarily through ads going to support itself, at least at the scale that we're doing it. And that by using our brand and our infrastructure and things, we can start or buy businesses, give them a competitive advantage in the marketplace by doing that, and then use that additional revenue and profitability to both sustain our scale of our newsroom and to invest and to grow the company. And so our short-term goal is to offset every dollar of print decline with a dollar of new business. And I think we got right on that mark, or very close to it, in the first quarter of this year. So we feel good about that now. We're not declaring victory, and but we're going to put a lot more emphasis on, we're not a venture capital company, we're not a private equity company. We're going to look for businesses that we can license, start, purchase, probably small, but they fit into our business some way, solve a business problem or challenge we have, and or in some relationship we can give them a competitive advantage in the marketplace. As I say to our folks, we're not going in the 7-Eleven franchise business. I'm sure that I think that's a great business, but it has little to nothing to do with what we do. We can't be any more competitive in that business than we can in many others. The things we're doing, the 5 businesses we bought or started last year, we're giving every one of them a competitive advantage. I believe that democracy is greatly benefited from the work that journalists do. And that can be journalists that are a single journalist working on his or her own. It can be the Texas Tribune, or it can be the Dallas Morning News newsroom, or it can be the New York Times newsroom, all different scale. If you're going to, though, talk about government, in Dallas alone, we have minimum 17 different incorporated municipalities that make up kind of just the Dallas part of the market. That's not even including Fort Worth, right? That's 17 different mayors, city councils, school districts, fire departments, police departments, tax bases, water utilities, so forth, so on, right? So to cover all of those governments, you have to have scale. You can't do it with 17 people. You need more scale than that. So what I'm saying is, first, to adequately cover government, in my opinion, in the way that our founding fathers, the reason they gave us an exemption from government meddling in what we do, the freedom of the press, we're there to help be the watchdog for the citizens, and that watchdog business takes scale. And if newspaper newsrooms keep shrinking, they're not going to get replaced. They're not going to get replaced by broadcast television. They will not scale up, and they haven't. As you've watched newspaper newsrooms go down in Dallas, including ours, they haven't added to their staffs to offset that. Another place you can fill in is with good, and the Texas Tribune is probably one of, if not the shiny example of a nonprofit sort of startup, journalistically based organization, and I think they're wonderful and they're doing great work, but they can't scale to 325 people. I mean, think about it for a moment. I have a $30 million newsroom. A typical foundation might put $5 million of its corpus, earnings out every year and so forth. To get to $30 million at 5%, that's a $600 million foundation devoting every dollar of its 5% a year, the typical amount that a foundation gives out, to support my newsroom. How many $600 million foundations are out there that want to support one newsroom in every municipality in the United States? We need the for-profit model to get to that kind of scale. Quality journalism can be done and should be done at every level, and is certainly, there has never been a necessary correlation between size and quality. You can be size and be really poor quality, and you can be very, very small, and everything you do can be quality. I'm only arguing that scale is necessary for our government watchdog role, and it provides me the competitive advantage in the marketplace. The television news stations can't give you the kind of perspective, interpretation, context analysis, the beat reporting, the subject matter expertise, the columnists They can't give you that because they don't have scale. They are just feeding the machine, sort of feeding the news machine every day, doing a lot of who, what, when, and where. I'll give you who, what, when, and where, but I'm going to give you how, why, and what it means to you. The TV stations don't have a chance to do that because they don't have the scale. If we keep downsizing and we have no more scale than they do, now we're at par, and I think that their platform, their over-the-air television distribution system on top of the internet distribution system means they beat us. So we need our scale to keep a competitive advantage and to do the job that I believe the First Amendment asks us to do, which is be the citizen's watchdog on government.